Formula One comes to Brazil for the final round of the 2020 season, and with 3 drivers in with a shot of taking the title, it's set to be another cracker of a season finale. Precipitation is forecasted for qualifying and potentially the race, and this has Ferrari licking its lips at the prospect of being a spanner in the works for Audi and Jaguar. Both Jaguars have remained calm and coy on how they will approach the race, with team bosses saying they will be free to race each other, having already sealed the Constructors' Championship at the last round. Meanwhile, Audi will be trying everything to give Sainz a shot at the title. Of course, last season, Sainz missed out to Verstappen despite Audi winning the Constructors, so payback is on the mind of the team. The rest of the grid will be looking for some last-minute glory, with the likes of Leclerc looking for one final advertisement to Ferrari, and other drivers such as Kevin Magnussen perhaps fighting to stay in the sport. Whatever the case may be, this race is going to be a tense one, but in the end, only one driver can take the crown of Formula One champion in 2020. In the absolutely soaked conditions of Interlagos, there was one man who rose above the rest to take the final pole position of the 2020 season, and it is Antonio Giovinazzi once again putting his Ferrari on pole position alongside Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren, just 35 thousandths of a second separating the two of them. Then comes Sebastian Vettel. He'll be starting from the second row of the grid directly behind his teammate, and alongside the lead Jaguar in this race, Stoffel Vandoorne, just 4 thousandths of a second between Vettel and Vandoorne. Then in 5th position comes the Audi of Carlos Sainz, aarava in the other Jaguar, starting from directly behind his teammate on the 3rd row of the grid and from 6th position. Then comes Kevin Magnussen, trying desperately to keep his McLaren seat for the next season. He'll be starting from 7th and ahead of both Haas cars, with Nico Hülkenberg completing the 4th row of the grid. Then comes Max Verstappen in the Mercedes in 9th position and lead Mercedes for this race, and Romain Grosjean just barely squeaking into the top 10 and ahead of Sergio Perez in 11th in the Audi. Then comes the other Mercedes of Pascal Wehrlein, the top 12, all separated by just 0.5 of a second, less than half a second between the top 12 in qualifying. Then comes the Alfa Romeo of Leclerc, a fantastic qualifying for him. Does manage to start alongside and ahead of Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull in 14th position. Then comes the monster rehab car of Mick Schumacher. He'll be starting from the 8th row of the grid alongside Fuoco, who could only manage 16th. Then comes the other monster rehab car of Sophia Flörsch from 17th position. Valtteri Bottas in 18th position, just 1/1000th of a second quicker than Nico Kari in the Red Bull in qualifying. Does manage to grab that 18th, Nico Kari in 19th, Lando Norris in 20th. And bringing up the rear of the grid once again, it is Esteban Ocon, this time joined by Sergio Camara, and with just 3/1000ths of a second between them.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 MyDriver career mode, episode number 15 today for Season 6 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. This is the finale of Season 6, guys. It all comes down to this. If you did miss the last episode, episode number 14 at the Australian Grand Prix, be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. But this is the finale, and hopefully you guys have also seen the montage trailer uploaded yesterday. A very cool way to get in the mood of this finale. And of course, if you did check out the Australian Grand Prix race, then you'll know the drivers' standings going into this round. 3 people can win this championship. Myself, Stoffel Vandoorne, my teammate, in the second Jaguar car, and Carlos Sainz in the Audi car. 1, 2, 3, 163 points to 151. That is the spread from P1 to P3 going into this race. And then if we look at the race poll and winners of this season so far, it's been a very, very interesting spread, and certainly very interesting championship to look back on. Obviously, the big standout surprise ones, Nico Kari and Sophia Flörsch winning races in their debut rookie seasons at the Italian and USA Grand Prix respectively. But we've had a lot of different race winners. Carlos Sainz kicked things off. You can see Ricciardo, Grosjean, Perez, Giovinazzi, Verstappen, Vandoorne, myself. It's certainly been a very unpredictable championship with no repeat winners in a row in this season so far. There's always been a new man on the top step of the podium, so let's see what's going to happen today. And as we do the final preparations to go to this race now in the formation lap, it's not just us that will be really banking on this race and need it to be a good one. Of course, we've got plenty of fights down the field just for pride in points, really. Antonio Giovinazzi may be looking to re-overtake Sebastian Vettel in the championship as he potentially departs the Scuderia. You've got Daniel Ricciardo trying his best still to climb the McLaren. So at the moment, McLaren actually behind Haas Chevrolet and level on points with Monster Rehab. So those three teams will be in a scrap of their own for P5 to P7, which obviously is a lot of prize money for them. Of course, in the Constructors-wise for us, we've already wrapped it up. We sealed the deal last race, so we are the Constructors champions. So Jaguar as a team have successfully done what they've wanted to accomplish this season, winning the championship in their second season back into Formula 1. But now it's time to find out who will be taking home that Drivers' Championship trophy at the end of this season as we go towards 5 red lights for the final time, the finale of Season 6 MyDriver. 5 red lights to the Brazilian Grand Prix, and the lights go out and we're underway here. It's a good start for us, even better one for Sebastian Vettel, and it looks like Daniel Ricciardo into the lead as Sainz cuts across on the left-hand side. We go to the outside to turn 1. Ricciardo leads the way. Giovinazzi's going to try and squeeze Vettel out. We're up into P4, although we get a little bit bogged down by Vettel, having to go wide, and now Vandoorne is down by inside, so Vettel will now try and slipstream Giovinazzi. Vandoorne may try it as well to make it 3 wide. Vettel goes for the move on Giovinazzi. Vandoorne on Vettel. Vandoorne comes back across in the brake zone. He's tapped us wide. We've broken a bit of our front wing. We're narrowly just avoiding the gravel trap there on the right hand side, but we're off circuit. We're coming back very slowly and gingerly back into P21 now, just ahead of Seta Camara in the Williams car, but it's an absolute disaster first lap for us here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Yellow front wing there you can see on the right hand side on the heads up display. We try and go round the outside of the Red Bull car of Nico Carey, trying to desperately just get a few positions back in this Grand Prix, side by side with Lando Norris, our fellow Brit, up into P19, but this is literally calamities for us now. Vandoorne tried to make a move on Vettel. I guess he just didn't see me in the mirrors, and that's a little bit controversial now, as he's really just forced my hand now. We're down the order into P18 now, round the outside as we overtake the first Renault car of the afternoon, hopefully, Esteban Ocon, and we try and now go close on the back of Valtteri Bottas, up into Rich Mix, obviously, as Daniel Ricciardo now leads the Grand Prix from, I'm guessing it's Sebastian Vettel to Giovinazzi, then Stoffel Vandoorne. We're going to overtake Valtteri Bottas in a straight line there, Jaguar v Renault power, and meanwhile, it's this man, Stoffel Vandoorne, our teammate, the man who sent us off circuit, making the move in the same exact place we had the contact on Antonio Giovinazzi to go up into P3 of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile now, cutting back to us, we're making the move on the inside of Pierre Gasly. Sophia Flores makes a double overtake, it looks like, down the inside of Antonio Fuoco and Max Verstappen. That's an amazing overtake there for Sophia there. Double overtake on Verstappen, who's really struggling now in this Grand Prix. We're going to try and go around the outside of him, but now with the broken front wing, you can see the understeer I'm getting into every right-hander, and now Verstappen goes very, very defensive into the S section. We have to wait until we climb up the hill on the end of the same lap and try and go around the outside. We do eventually do that, as Sebastian Vettel set the fast half of the Grand Prix, so he's trying to chase down Daniel Ricciardo for the lead of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, on towards lap 3, we're chasing after Sophia Flores, who's making an overtake on Pascal Wehrlein. So basically, can we just try and follow her through here? They both send each other wide, so we go round the outside of Sophia and then Pascal as well. Very, very close stuff on the left front tyre, but we make the double overtake, so we're really not wasting any time. But look at the amount of cars that are right behind me, chasing me down. But at the moment, I am on the back foot completely, well and truly on the back foot now. I've got a lot of places to make up this afternoon, and I need to then try and overtake Vandoorne and Carlos Sainz, of course. You know, I've got a little bit of a cushion in the Drivers' Championship, but I don't have that much of a cushion. So we're going to look now at a replay. This is, for me, a very controversial moment in this season and this Grand Prix, because it did not look like Vandoorne even knew I was there and just hastily came back onto the racing line to do his braking. So you can see here, this is where I get sent wide, because effectively Vettel brake checked me, because he also got brake checked by Giovinazzi. So Vandoorne able to get me. Vettel goes for a move on Giovinazzi, fair play. Vandoorne has a look, but then here, right there was the contact. He came back onto the racing line, half onto the racing line to make the make his brake zone, obviously. But it just didn't look like he had any concept of me being there, having my nose in. My front wing was alongside his rear right tyre, and so as we look at a full kind of shot now off board on the replay cameras, you can see that's how we swung through on the wide line. Ricciardo's well off in the way into the distance in P1, and here is the contact. There you go, just chopped across there. That angle really shows it quite well, and so that for me is going to be, well... let's see. That may be quite a big moment for the championship. Didn't seem like too much. It wasn't a very dramatic bit of contact there, but that could be very, very big. And that has now really put us That's really put the pressure cooker on us now. Meanwhile, we cut back to the live race action. It's Carlos Sainz now making a move down the inside of Antonio Giovinazzi. So once again, Giovinazzi getting flustered a little bit off pole position, and Carlos Sainz is up the order, and that will be P4 for him. So that's very crucial for him. Meanwhile, back down the order a little bit further back on the track, it's Mick Schumacher making a move on Charles Leclerc. So both of them going side by side and doing battle as now we move on to our POV. We're on lap 5 now, so it's taken us 2 laps now to actually catch up to this train. So I did lose a fair amount of actual time in track time there. So I'm really having to push very, very hard just to even close up to the cars I'm trying to overtake now. But we try and make a move round the outside of Romain Grosjean, who's had a very, very poor start to this Grand Prix in P11. We go round the outside, trying to keep our foot in on the throttle. Round the outside of the final, second last corner really, and up the hill now we'll get the power down and we'll overtake Grosjean. And now we can try and set our eyes on the Alfa Romeo of Charles Leclerc, I think that will be, and then Mick Schumacher in the Monster Rehab car. But we're up into P11 now, so 1 place off the points then, I guess. So a pretty decent recovery to say it's only lap 5, but we still got a lot of work to do this afternoon if Vandoorne and Carlos Sainz are in P3 and P4 respectively. But actually we're up into P10 already on the top left there briefly. You could see us, I think it was Sergio Perez who's made a bit of an earlier pit stop from soft tyres. In terms of the tyre strategy, you can see we're on mediums. We go round the outside of also the other medium tyre runner of Charles Leclerc around the outside. Very, very nice move there. Just got the traction beautifully and able to get past him pretty damn quickly. But talking about the tyres quickly, the tyre selection, obviously because it rained in qualifying, I saw onto the medium tyres. Carlos Sainz opted for mediums as well, whereas my teammate Vandoorne opted for the soft tyres, along with, you can see, Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel, I think that is in P2. So those 3 guys are going to have to make an earlier pit stop than myself and Carlos may do. So that's going to be an interesting thing that may help us a little bit if Vandoorne has to pit earlier. But Carlos Sainz, obviously, our other main rival contender for the championship, is going to be on the same tyre strategy as us. So we're going to have to really work quite hard. And I'm not too sure, maybe pray for a bit of a miracle really on the strategy call to try and see if we can gain some time that way. But Vandoorne does come into the pits the very next lap along with Antonio Giovinazzi, and I think that will be Kevin Magnussen behind them as well. So both of them, all 3 of them coming in from the soft tyres. Now, which tyre will Vandoorne put on? Looks like it's another set of soft tyres. Okay, surprising. So Vandoorne going very, very aggressive in this Grand Prix. So maybe trying a 3-stop this afternoon then. So that's going to be very interesting. So that actually may help us as we make the move now with a fast up the Grand Prix now down the inside, locking up very big lock up there on the front left as we make the move on Mick Schumacher then through the Senna S's, but he'll get the traction and get the swing back momentum now as we go down this main back straight. As Sergio Perez has fast up the Grand Prix, so his early pit stops working well. We go defensive as we go towards the swooping left-hander. Mick Schumacher goes round the outside. We'll be able to squeeze him out. We go side by side. Lost a bit of traction there on the exit. Still in Rich Mix, trying to squeeze him hard on the right-hand side, but we're going to have to ultimately give him the room on the inside. And ultimately also, I understeer quite a bit there up the hill. You can see that just every single right-hander I will be understeering because I've broken the left-hand side of my front wing there, but we just managed to get through on the inside, squeeze him out, and now it's going to be Charles Leclerc going side by side with Mick Schumacher. So these two are getting very familiar with each other this afternoon. Obviously, both of them effectively being kind of this is an advertisement race for both of them, obviously respectively for Ferrari and Mercedes. So it's going to be a big race for them. So they're really pushing hard to attack one another. Meanwhile, we move back onto the next lap and into turn 1. Still, once again, not shaken off Mick Schumacher, and Charles is there in the background as well. But Schumacher getting a great run once again through that second corner, or third corner technically. I just can't get a great run. Now we go 3 wide. They go either side of me, and they get the overspeed with DRS. So I've actually been overtaken by 2 cars here, and now Schumacher and Leclerc will go side by side once again. And this is a great battle to witness, to be honest, though, right in front of me. These two may just be the future stars of Formula 1, and they go side by side up the hill, up the crest. Can we try and make a move? We're just trying to suss out where we can maybe just take advantage if one of them gets caught napping. I think it may be now, as Schumacher is looking way too much at Charles's rear end. So we go round the outside, oh so close on the left-hand side of our car there. That was such a nice move. Very, very close stuff. And now, can we try and out-traction Leclerc perhaps on the left-hand side? No, not going to work. We have to stick behind him and maybe save it up for the next bit of the lap here. But as we go through the final second corner, hopefully we can try and get the run up the hill and then get a move on, because there's a lot of clean air, it looks like, ahead of this Alfa Romeo car. So we need to use that clean air to try and stretch these medium tyres as much as we can. So we move on to the next lap, lap 11. Unfortunately, Leclerc so far has had the pace in sector 1 and 2, but now again in the same place, the traction zone, very crucial traction zone. We go around the outside, keeping full throttle through the left-hander, and it's a bit of deja vu because I'm pretty sure I did this with Leclerc in Season 4, and that's an absolutely awesome move there. Kept the foot in there, didn't dare lift off, and we're up into 7th place, and now we're going to pit straight away, boxing in this lap because my tyres are going off, and I fancy actually getting a bit of an undercut strategy on these guys, so we come in now, and we're going to just make sure we slow down. It looks like Leclerc is going to follow me in, and Schumacher actually, unfortunately, so really, it's not going to be much of an undercut because both of those guys have thought the exact same thing as me, so a little bit annoying, but we come in now. We're going to put on a set of hard tyres, the orange wall hard tyres, because we need to go as long as we can in this Grand Prix, and then I think we're going to strap on a set of soft tyres, the yellow wall soft tyres, the same tyres that Vandoorne has been on twice now this afternoon. I'm going to stretch these hard as long as I can, then go onto them. I say it's we need to stretch them because in reality the usual strategy around Brazil if you're doing medium and hards would be medium, hard, medium, but I wanted to try and use a soft set of tyres at the end of this Grand Prix because they're going to be so much more, well, faster. They're going to have so much more grip at the end of this race on low fuel, means I can push flat out at the end of this race, so that's going to be my plan. So hopefully if I can go to around lap, I would say 28, 29, I think that'll be a good time to pit in for the soft. But anyways, as I've been talking about that, we make a very hasty move on Pierre Gasly there, down the inside, up the hill, and now we move on towards lap 13, up into P10. There's a few people have made their pit stops now, P9 actually. Esther Camara comes in as well, so we've got Romain Grosjean up ahead. Vettel's gone wide. Oh, God, there's been contact. Grosjean's off. Vettel's made contact with Grosjean there. I thought he was going wide, so that looked a little bit odd. And now Vettel's on the back foot. We're going to make an overtake on one of the Ferrari cars. Didn't think it was going to be this early in the Grand Prix. We go side by side with Vettel, and we'll get it on the inside. Vettel on the hard tyres, so he's made the pit stop already. His first pit stop of the afternoon, but Vettel definitely made contact there and spun Grosjean out. Not too sure how, but he definitely got sent wide. Maybe he was battling Kevin Magnussen, but we're up into P7 now, so making very good progress with only 13 laps gone. We've got plenty of laps left in this afternoon. Let's look at a replay though of this. So it was Vettel and Magnussen that go side by side. Magnussen sends Vettel wide, and then Vettel comes back on track. And not back on track, but back into the racing line, and very, very unfortunate there for Romain Grosjean. So there you go, it's actually Magnussen making a move down the inside, so the McLaren car is working very well in this final race, actually, surprisingly, and Magnussen sends Vettel wide, and that's so gutting for Romain Grosjean, so unlucky there. Vettel just didn't see him in the mirrors. Obviously, Grosjean also could have maybe taken some avoiding action, but that's just so tight and narrow there onto that exit of the corner. So very, very unfortunate for Grosjean, and very, very bad stuff for Haas Chevrolet, because so far in this race they've not been doing amazing so far. The pace has just not been there. But we look at a replay now. As that was going on, just ahead was Stoffel Vandoorne in the lead of this Grand Prix, as it's Carlos Sainz and Ricciardo both made their pit stops now, and Carlos Sainz comes out of the pits just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. So at the moment, having already made a second pit stop this afternoon, he's already been on this second stint already. Vandoorne is leading the way on that second set of soft tyres to Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo, but obviously Vandoorne, you would think, would have to make a much earlier pit stop now compared to these guys, probably doing a 3-stop versus most of us doing a 2-stop this afternoon. So Vandoorne for now leads the Grand Prix, but it remains to be seen if he's got enough pace to maybe make the gap to make that extra pit stop work. Meanwhile, back behind, as Vettel's been overtaken by us, he's now getting flustered, and he's being overtaken by Pierre Gasly down the inside. Gasly makes a very nice move there, obviously for Red Bull, just trying to keep ahead of Alfa Romeo in the constructors, so good work there from Pierre Gasly, and also just maybe trying to fight for his seat to stay in the Red Bull car next year, because he's not been doing too amazingly, even compared to his rookie teammate this season. But Gasly makes a nice overtake, and Mick Schumacher and Charles Leclerc have made the overtake on Vettel. So Vettel's been overtaken by 3 cars there in the span of 2 corners. So Vettel really, really hampered now, and I think he must have some damage perhaps after that little collision with Romain Grosjean, even though we can't see it visually there, and maybe he'll need to make an extra pit stop soon. But speaking about an extra pit stop, it's Vandoorne into the pit lane now, so for that second early pit stop that I mentioned now, surely he'll be going on to a set of either mediums or hards, we'll have to see, but it's going to be Carlos Sainz now into the lead of this Grand Prix, with Daniel Ricciardo in second place. Vandoorne is going to go on to medium tyres. Right, interesting. I actually really thought he would have gone to hards, and maybe would have tried to stretch it, but no, he's going very aggressive indeed. So I would imagine, if I was Vandoorne in his situation, I would go mediums like he has done right now, and then I'll go on to soft tyres at the end, so we may actually both be on a set of soft tyres. But as we swing round in lap 15, we're now ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne, and effectively, we're now both making one more pit stop in this Grand Prix. So really, in reality, after all of that, after all the drama with both of us on lap 1, I think at the moment, if it all stayed like this, and I'm not going to make an extra pit stop as well with Vandoorne, I'm going to be effectively ahead of him by in this race, hopefully. Fingers crossed, because if you think about it, we've only got one pit stop each left, so I'm ahead of him already on track. So the only one we need to worry about now is this man Carlos Sainz, who leads the way going through the second last turn, leading the way from Daniel Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi. I think that is in third place, but we're in fourth place now. Vandoorne in fifth, so at the moment this wouldn't work out for us in the standings, but we've got plenty of this race to go. We're still under halfway gone of this Grand Prix, but we're already ahead of Vandoorne, so that's a very good thing. The only thing is, if Vandoorne is going to start catching us, which may be a very big thing, because obviously he's on mediums, I'm on hards, that have gone a fair few laps already. But now, meanwhile, we cut back to some racing. That was Charles Leclerc overtaking Pierre Gasly down the inside with DRS. Mick Schumacher ahead has already overtaken Gasly then, so we missed that action, but Gasly falling back down after climbing to a lofty height there after overtaking Vettel. And then this is, speaking about Vettel, he is now behind Pascal Wehrlein now on a set of hard tyres. I believe he may have made an extra pit stop already there, so Vettel's afternoon is going from bad to worse, and I think it's safe to say probably Giovinazzi will be jumping him in the standings by the end of this race. And meanwhile, also for Nico Hülkenberg, it's been a bad race day so far for Haas Chevrolet, but Hülkenberg does overtake Nico Carey there to try and get up the order, but both Haas Chevrolet cars really down the order. So for now, if Ricciardo is able to keep his podium that he's in at the moment, that would work wonders for McLaren, because obviously McLaren and Monster Rehab were level on points, and Haas were only about 4 points ahead of both of them, respectively, with 126 points to 122, I think it was. So that will really work well for McLaren to try and get that kind of fifth place, which will mean quite a lot for prize money. But anyway, as we move back to our fight, we're on to lap 19 now, and Vandoorne, as I mentioned, has actually caught up to us on the medium tyres versus my worn hard tyres. Obviously, I've been on a fair few laps at this point. We break early into the centre S's to get a switchback move, try and get better traction off this corner, and it's going to work out for us because we've also got DRS, so a bit of a wily old fox move there for me to wait for the DRS line effectively. So now we go down the inside, we go side by side with our teammate there. Is it going to get frosty? Obviously, we've already made contact on lap 1 of this Grand Prix. I'm not too sure how Vandoorne feels about it in the cockpit, but I'm pretty damn angry about it. So yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very tight scrap, but at the moment I need to try and keep Vandoorne behind me and try and ruin his race, because obviously I need to think about Sainz, but at the same time Vandoorne's also there for the pickings in the standings. So we go side by side, trying to go round the outside, trying to get the traction. We do pick up the traction, and we're back up into what will be P4, and Vandoorne back down to P5, and you can see the background there. I think that's Mick Schumacher, not too far off the pace actually there from me and Vandoorne, so we may have company sooner rather than later. But now we move back on towards the end of lap 19, on towards lap 20. The fight's not done there. Once again, Vandoorne comes through. Once again, I defend down the inside now, sending him wide. This time, though, I don't actually back off into the second corner, which is probably a mistake, actually, because now Vandoorne will be the one getting DRS on me, but I just didn't have the room to kind of get the switchback. That would have been way too obvious for Vandoorne, and he would have probably done the same thing to me and waited up for the DRS. So he goes down the inside. We're around the outside this time, trying to feed it through, trying to find the grip, but Vandoorne does get it. This time, though, we're so much closer as we run through to the hill, as Perez has the fast lap of the Grand Prix, but Vandoorne narrowly just about squeezing us out there. I really tried to force my hand into the left-hand side of that circuit, onto the circuit on the climb up the hill, but Vandoorne was not having any of it. He was like, nope, you're not going on the left, mate. You're going to have to just stick behind me. And so now as we move on to lap 21, we've got DRS onto the pit straight, down the inside for turn 1. We'll go side by side. Meanwhile, look at that. That's Daniel Ricciardo in the pits, coming out the pits for his final pit stop of the afternoon, I think that may be. So as we go through the left-hand bend, there is Ricciardo just coming out of the pit. So both me and Vandoorne overtake Ricciardo, but he's so close to us, and both of us, I think, have to make a pit stop this afternoon. So Ricciardo's well and truly one entire pit stop ahead of us, and will that mean also is Giovinazzi and Sainz that far as well, even more so perhaps? So that is a little bit worrying, but for now I'm just concentrating on Vandoorne. We've re-overtaken him, and now hopefully I'm really praying that now Ricciardo can come and mess up Vandoorne and just try and have a battle with him, so I can get away desperately and try and catch Giovinazzi and Sainz if I can, as we move through once again through the left-hand side bend, and I'm going down this main back straight once again with the second DRS zone of the circuit. Vandoorne once again down my inside, although this time we've matched him a lot more in the brake zone, so we're still wheel to wheel on the exit of that corner. Vandoorne, though, will get the squeeze out line, so he gets up into P3, and we have to settle back down for P4. But on the run up the hill, we get a really good run in 5th gear, down to 4th momentarily to rev out the engine, get the revs to try and pull us through. We're going round the outside, which will turn to the inside for the next corner. So can we just try and squeeze him out there on the right hand side? Looks like we'll just about get that done, and we're up into P3. But again, on towards lap 23, Brazil is just it's seeming so good for the slipstream here. Vandoorne's back round my outside into turn 1. Will we try the wily old fox move again? Yes, we will. This time time. Oh, there's contact there between me and Vandoorne, so it's getting a little bit frosty now. We go side by side through this swooping left-hander, and now here comes the Papaya McLaren or Honda of Daniel Ricciardo. He's going to make it 3 wide now as we go into the brake zone. Very, very close stuff. We just about come through in the middle there, and now Ricciardo on the exit will go side by side with Stoffel Vandoorne. You've got, I think, Giovinazzi. That is very close behind, or it might be Sebastian Vettel. I can't quite tell, but Ricciardo goes round the outside, up the hill. It's going to be a really nice move if Ricciardo can pull this off. He's on the hard tyres, so he's definitely going to the end of this Grand Prix. So if Vandoorne and myself and the Ferrari car can hamper his race, that'll be quite good for us. And I think that is Giovinazzi, actually. So I think I'm in P2 at the moment. So really, if we can hamper both these guys' races, that'll be absolutely great for us. But now you can see that, actually, sorry, that was Sebastian Vettel that entire time. That was Antonio Giovinazzi. This is leading the Grand Prix, coming into the pit stops. And this is Carlos Sainz coming through to take back the lead of the Grand Prix. So Carlos Sainz, that must have mean he's already made his final pit stop then. If Sainz was behind Giovinazzi, worryingly, I think that means Sainz already made his pit stop. So, oh, that is, I'm a little bit worried now, I'm not going to lie. Right, so we're looking down the order. That was Charles Leclerc just ahead of the Mercedes car, Pascal Wehrlein, and Charles Leclerc behind Mick Schumacher this afternoon in the tail end of the points there. Now we move on to the next lap or two. It's Daniel Ricciardo once again trying a move, and this time looks like he will just about get Vandoorne the exit. Very, very close up there with Vandoorne's front wing, but Ricciardo's up into what will be effectively P3 now, as I believe I'm in P2. Carlos Sainz leads the way. Giovinazzi's made his pit stop, and now Vandoorne makes that pit stop that I was talking about. And also, it's going to be Sebastian Vettel into the pits with him. So both these guys making a final pit stop of the afternoon. So now I'm guessing Vandoorne will be onto himself either softs, or we could go for another set of mediums, actually, because it's a little bit early maybe for a set of soft tyres. And yes, it is going to be another set of mediums because it's only around lap 21, lap 22, I think it is. So it's way too early for a set of soft tyres. As I mentioned earlier, probably around lap 29, 30, you want to go onto a set of soft tyres to get to this end of the race. But meanwhile, we're still out there on hard tyres. Carlos Sainz is on hard tyres, so he's going to the end of this Grand Prix. So this is a little bit tricky right now. Do I go as long as I can on a hard tyres and try and just desperately defend from Ricciardo? Or do I pit early? The thing is, look at my tyre wear there. That is getting to puncture territory towards the end of this race if I'm not careful. And I'm just thinking back to other career modes where I've had a puncher here at Brazil if we go too long on the tyres. And now Ricciardo is going to try and make a move around the outside with DRS. We defend very hard down the inside. We go side by side on the exit. So close. My right front tyre to his side pod there on the left. Ricciardo does, in fact, squeeze us out there. And all this while, obviously, our tyres are going off more and more. And our front wing, we didn't change it the entire race. We've still got that broken front wing as we go down the inside to get back up into P2, but now I really do think actually it's time to pit in. Just that move alone, Ricciardo coming so fast, so rapidly after trying to overtake Vandoorne to overtake me. I just thought, now I need to go onto softs. There's no way I can take these hard to the end. They're already 44%. There's no way they're going to be fresh and able to defend from Ricciardo in like 6 laps time if he's already trying to overtake me quite well with DRS. So I come in, set of soft tyres. We're literally going to push like an absolute madman there. But you can see, I think if you look carefully there on the pit stop, you can see the damage to our left front. You can see a little bit of the cascade element of the front wing is off there. So we haven't changed that wing because that's going to lose us way too much time. But we're coming out now with about 6 laps to go, I think, on soft tyres now. And we have just got to go, as Lewis Hamilton's engineer would say in real life, we're just going to go hammer time. We've got to literally push as hard as we can. And we've got to set some fast laps to the Grand Prix here because we cannot waste any time. We're in P6. We need to get up into a podium position at the moment. If Carlos Sainz is leading this Grand Prix, we need to get a podium, at least, minimum. We need to get a podium, so we've not got too long left. Thankfully for us, we've come out ahead of this little train of Charles Leclerc, followed by, I think that's Pascal Wehrlein, and then Pierre Gasly, who at the moment is still doing a great job in that Red Bull car, by the way. But we're closing up now to Mick Schumacher for P5. You can see dancing the car around, tiptoeing around the outside. That's a very, very nice move, and a bit of a deja move there, because we made the same move literally earlier on in the Grand Prix on the same man himself, Mick Schumacher. So nice stuff, and you can see we've really got the grip right now at the moment on the soft tyres. Second purple sector there on the mini-map, you can see on the very next lap, closing up to Sebastian Vettel. I'm in lean mix at the moment, you'll see in sector 2 to try and save some fuel that I actually need and I don't have to burn. And so we're going to use rich mix basically only in sectors 3, climb up the hill, and then sector 1. In sector 2, we don't need it, and the lean mix is actually going to give us some good traction. We go around the outside on Vettel on medium tyres at this point, very worn. We keep the throttle in. We go round the outside of the last bend here as we climb up the hill. Just going to power through, and we will get the move on Vettel, but Vettel will try and come back at us, I think, with Slipstream here. He'll have DRS now, so I don't think it's done there. Obviously, on the Monster Rehab car, easy move to get away from, but the Ferrari car is a bit of a better car. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, it's Antonio Giovinazzi making the move for P2 in this Grand Prix, so nice to see there's still some battling going on for the podium places as Antonio Giovinazzi gets up into P2 on Daniel Ricciardo there, but Ricciardo's still going to be pretty happy at this point having P3. Meanwhile, back to us as we go through the center S's and then down the back straight. Vettel has DRS at the moment. We're still low on fuel, but I'm in rich mix, I think, at the moment to try and defend. We go round the outside of Vettel, trying to keep it through. We go side by side, my left front to his rear right, and he'll just about squeeze us through there as he sparks away there on the exit on the under train. We just about get cut off there up the hill, but now can we try and send it down the inside? We'll go for it, a little bit of a lunge, braking, locking up a little bit on the right front. We just about make it, and we're back up into P4 now, so effectively where we were, and now we've got 5 laps to try and chase after Daniel Ricciardo and try and see if we can get this podium position. We're still a little bit marginal on fuel though. Meanwhile, for our teammate, update on him. After that extra pit stop he made, he's actually gotten very, very unlucky. He's stuck behind Pascal Wehrlein, Charles Leclerc and Mick Schumacher, and at the moment, Vandoorne surprisingly just can't find a way past. Vandoorne is absolutely struggling now for grip on his set of medium tyres. I really think he should have waited a lot longer and gone to softs like I have. Now we move on to lap 33 here. Carlos Sainz still leading the way, but crucially now, look around you in the skies. It is starting to rain, I think. It's overcast. The track is looking a little bit slippery. It's got that sheen when the water is over the track surface. Giovinazzi continues on in P2. The same for Daniel Ricciardo. Meanwhile, for us, as we're coming through the final few corners, running up the hill, I've not got the traction on the soft tyres anymore, and I think it's time to come in for an earlier pit stop onto intermediate. So for now, it looked like all hope was lost, but now I'm going to come in earlier than these guys. The top 3 have continued on for one more lap, but I think it's definitely time to come in already for a set of intermediate tyres. So a little bit unfortunate that my engineer didn't tell me the rain was coming. No one knew the rain was coming. So once again, typical Brazil it never disappoints in terms of the rain, and it's come through the last minute on the last 3 laps of this Grand Prix. And unfortunately, in hindsight, I should have maybe just stretched the hard tyres on till this intermediate set, but as I said, I didn't know the rain was coming. So now we come on though 1 lap early onto the intermediates. This is my only chance. I need to pray that Ricciardo, Sainz and Giovinazzi go slowly on this lap. Surely they have. Look at the amount of spray on track and coming off my car. There is no way surely they're going to go fast enough on those dry tyres. Look at it. Look at the amount of spray that's on track. I'm up into rich mix. I'm on inters. I'm on the correct tyre. DRS is disabled, which is always the correct time to come in for inters. There's no way. Surely, look, as they come through on the dry tyres, come on. There's got to be no way. There's no way they haven't lost a heap of time there on that entire lap on the full, while it's been pouring down. Now look at the track surface. They're on mediums and hards. Giovinazzi comes in. Ricciardo's in there in the background there. I've really got to pray. I've got to keep my fingers crossed. I hope some of you guys are as well, who are rooting for me at the moment, because I need these guys to have lost enough time. Giovinazzi in, intermediate tyres. Same for Ricciardo. It looks like Giovinazzi will stay ahead of Ricciardo. There is Carlos Sainz coming out the pits. Where are we? We're nowhere to be seen. Carlos Sainz comes through down the pit lane, and he's still in first place. It's Giovinazzi in second, Ricciardo third. Remember, I just need minimum P3, but here I am, just overtaking bloody Pascal Wehrlein, and we're only just coming through onto lap 35. It's not worked out. We've not gained any time. How on earth have they done that? Those 3 have literally just done magic. Black magic, and they've somehow stayed out with that much of a gap on dry tyres on such a damn track. And I think that's it. We're in P4. There's no way I'm catching them in 2.5 laps or 1.5 laps. And now as we come through the final corner, effectively for Carlos Sainz, he runs up the hill, and at the moment he's just been controlling this race the entire time. He got into the lead through the first stint, obviously after some pit strategy with Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi. And Carlos Sainz is going to come through to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be Antonio Giovinazzi in second place, Daniel Ricciardo in third place. But more importantly for us and for the championship, it's going to be us coming through in fourth place. And we are not going to win the Drivers' World Championship. It's going to be Carlos Sainz to win his first World Drivers' Championship in 2020 with the 6th win of his career all round in the MyDriver universe. The Spaniard is on top, and just like last season, the winner of the Drivers' Championship does not drive for the team that has won the Constructors' Championship. So another surprise there, 2 times in a row that has occurred. But Carlos Sainz is your new world champion for the 2020 Formula 1 season. So here are the full race results, and then we're going to go through the entire Drivers' Championship standings. I do actually keep track of of every single driver, so you can see the effective second half of the table there if you're interested in some of the lower guys and what that could mean for them. I won't kind of hint at anything. I'll let you kind of maybe guess for yourselves in the comments below, and you'll just have to wait and see what happens for 2021. But I just want to take this time to say, guys, thank you guys so much for the support on this series. It has been absolutely insane making MyDriver for this entire year on F1 2016, the game, from Season 4, Season 5, and now Season 6. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been absolutely wonderful, and, you know, to read through your comments every single week is absolutely just awesome. Makes my day every time I upload one of these videos, and I read through in the first hour the comments, and just seeing the absolute support, you know, for so long now. You know, this is 6 seasons now. This is, like, I think definitely my longest running career mode F1 series now. It's spanned nearly, we're getting to 2 years now, basically, which is insane to me, especially considering this series. If you don't know, this series actually just started off as like a tiny little thing to basically put my name in the F1 2015 game, and it's turned into, well, basically the flagship series, the series where, well, if you said my name, then that's probably the first series you think of. So yeah, just absolutely insane, guys. I can't thank you guys enough. If you did enjoy this episode and this entire season, then smash that like button, guys. It'd be absolutely awesome. If you could try and maybe aim for something bonkers like 3,000 likes, something like that, that would be absolutely crazy and awesome to see. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. And also on screen right now, you'll be able to see an overview of Season 1 to Season 6, the different winners of the Drivers and Constructors Champions, and then who I was driving for those individual seasons. So it's always fun for me, and hopefully fun for you guys to look back at the universe basically that I'm trying to create here, and a history of its own basically of Formula 1 and its own little basically fantasy world, basically, in the tapestry that we've woven together from Season 1 to Season 6. So different to what real life Formula 1 is like, and I'm looking forward to making more. I will be bringing back a Season 7 on F1 2017, not straight away, for sure, not straight away. We're gonna take a good old break, just like we did between Season 3 and Season 4. But eventually it will come back. I won't tell you when. I'll just leave you hanging and, you know, leave you wanting more, and I'll let you know. I mean, I'll let you know. You'll know when it's coming, because I'll make a video for it to kind of recap Season 4 to Season 6 probably. But yeah, it's been so fun making Season 4 to Season 6. Season 6, I'm not going to lie, nearly killed me doing two episodes a week. I don't think I'll ever be doing that again. 2 episodes of these a week is just so much stress, but it's been worth it because you guys have been really appreciative of it, seeing the extra videos, and I really do appreciate those comments when I see them, and so thank you once again. I can't say thanks enough. Also, thanks to Justin, obviously, for doing the commentary. Cal one-off as well, 1 episode this season, but Justin's been an absolute star week in, week out, doing two episodes a week of extra commentary, so thank you to him. Thank you to anyone who has kind of put in any support or tweeted me tweets of support or anything like that. I love, you know, all the Twitter interactions with you guys when I'm uploading this series, and just, yeah, all that good stuff. I mean, I could ramble on for ages. Thank you guys for the support in this series, but I'm just going to shut up now. We're going to go to the post-race interviews, and then we'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Well, Arav, I can see you're not too disappointed this year compared to other seasons we've seen you. But you raced flat out there today, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough. But I gotta ask, what are your thoughts of them?
Yeah, can't really believe it, actually. Just, so close. So close. Yeah, absolutely miles away from it. Gave it our best shot. I mean, I think everything was thrown at it, like you said, and you know, really for me, the race could have been completely gone and over from lap 1, but you know, I'm proud of the spirit to continue on from lap 1 after the tangle with Stoffel, and you know, to come back all the way to P4 just wasn't enough, and you know, hindsight, the bloody weather was just didn't help us. If I knew the rain was coming, I probably would have tried to stretch the hard tires, or, you know, we knew from the very start, would have tried to stretch the mediums even as well. So, you know, just everything, there's a lot of things working against us, and yeah, no matter all of that stuff, we tried our best. We pushed as hard as we could. We were the fastest car out there at a lot of points in that race, so yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's been 3 years now, and 2 times come second, one time third. Yeah, it's been pretty close, but not good enough, clearly. So, you know, I mean, I enjoyed the racing out there. The season's been great. So, I mean, you know, just gonna have to take this one on the chin, really. And yeah, fair play to Carlos. I know we've had our differences this season with, you know, some incidents before, but it's fair enough. And, you know, he's done the job today. He's gone out and won the race. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, tough luck.
Now, you mentioned your tangle with Stoffel. Are you planning to speak to him later, and will this affect your plans for the winter?
No, I don't think it will affect my thoughts going into the winter necessarily, because obviously the first thought is just to really have a break. Definitely needed after this season, but we'll see. Jaguar on the other side of the team have never kind of pushed for any kind of contract talks very early on. We're both, well, I think all three of us, all three parties are very adamant about we wanted to focus on the end, and obviously now you know, there's some things to discuss straight away this weekend after in the debrief, and then we'll see where we go from there, really. Obviously there's a lot of people maybe on the move. I think Max and Sebastian are both on the move. So, yeah, it might be an interesting winter, especially with the new regulations as well. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But, I mean, I've been happy with the team. Just about maybe if I'm happy with the personnel. So, yeah.
And finally, after the fantastic team success of winning the Constructors' Championship with Jaguar, which I imagine is at least some consolation to losing out on the Drivers' Championship, how do you come away from this season with the success as a team, but not so much as the driver?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, at the end of the day, we're, you know, the money's in the Constructors, and we're employed by the team. So I guess in terms of that, if you want to look at it very blankly, we've done the job. We've done the job we're employed to do. We've won the Constructors, where, you know, the team are going to get all that prize money, and the team are very satisfied with the job we both did overall as a pairing, as a team, and for the sponsors as well. I know they're very happy. Of course, you know, the sponsor thing plays into the Drivers' Championship, and just obviously for personal glory for the championship is yeah, a little bit, yeah, to have such a good car. Obviously unreliable in a few instances, but to have such a strong car for most of the season, to have trounced the opposition for the Constructors and to come away not winning, yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet. But I guess, you know what, I think, you know, the funny thing is that this is probably how the Audi guys, Carlos and Sergio, were feeling last season, because they won the Constructors, and obviously Max won the Drivers. So yeah, so yeah, there's some positives, but yeah, as I said, 3 years now on the trot, to be so close is it's just a bit. It's not even like it's just a little bit funny now. So yeah, I mean, what can you do?
All right, thanks for your time. Enjoy the winter break, and see you in 2021.
All right, cheers.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true.